Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for the Get More from Scentsy. And what this is all about is you setting goals for your business. And did you know you're the CEO of your very own business? That always, every single time, for reals, every single time I say that, I'm blown. My mind is blown because for the longest time, and even sometimes now, I still say I love my job. However, Scentsy is not a job. Hey, Patty Lynch, we're just getting started. Scentsy is not a job. It is your business. So you're the CEO of your own business. So let me jump into a PowerPoint. I've learned that with Zoom, PowerPoints truly help me stay on task. And I'm quite a bit of a squirrel person. So it's very difficult for me if I don't. So I need to do the share screen. And I want to go here. Start screen share. Are you there, Patty?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'll mute myself.
Okay. All right. So this is our little community down here. So the house is down at the bottom. When I was part of a class, accelerated leadership class, we had to create our own community, and I have just loved it because it helps me to imagine that all of us are part of a big, I don't know, neighborhood, and it's just a big, wide open neighborhood. And so I'm not sure which house I would have. I kind of like the one with the smiley face, but they're all pretty cute. So with Get More Out of Scentsy, with your business, you got to have goals. We all need to write them down. We need to let ourselves dream. Do you know how many people don't give themselves permission to think and wish for any more than they have right now? And really, that is something that everybody needs to do because it helps us to imagine having something more, and we can have that with our business. We can have that. And so when you have your dreams, you got to figure out how you're going to get to them, and going from your dreams to making them a reality. You set goals to get there along the way. And I love this. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. And a plan backed by action makes dreams come true. So here's where the rubber meets the road. This very last sentence, because we can dream. We can dream and dream and dream, and we can create goals and break them down and really create a plan with the steps on how to do it. But if we never take action, then where are we going to go? We're not going to go anywhere. We're going to stay exactly where we are. So you better like it, because that's where you're going to be. And so that's kind of like what this is all about. And some really big dreams that many of us have is going on this cruise. And it's absolutely achievable by every single person that is part of Scentsy, and even the people who join our family today, tomorrow. People in years past, people have even joined as late as November and December and managed. I don't know how they did it. They did some massive action, but they managed to achieve the incentive trip. And for me, this particular incentive trip, the thought of flying to Spain and jumping on this boat, which I guess finally is built and ready for us, I'm like, holy smokes, it just really, really, really gets me jazzed. So for me, the whole details behind that, where we're going exactly, I forget that, we're going to Naples and Rome and La Spezia. I can't even pronounce some of these things. Barcelona. For me, knowing that I'm going on a Mediterranean cruise, that's enough. And knowing that all of us are going to be together, that's enough. Now, for people who do not want to travel overseas, because there's a bunch of people who do not want to travel over that big old open ocean, they could choose reunion. to be their ultimate goal, and to be where they want to be pouring their energy into to learning, earning, sorry, not learning. Now, these are beautiful and fantastic and can happen. However, sometimes imagining those really, really big goals like that they just don't feel touchable. So what I recommend that people do is, what do I want my business to do for me in October? So what is it that you want in October? And I'm going to give you just a minute to write a couple of things down if you want. What do you want your business to do for you in October? Now, the powerful thing for this is, whatever goal that you are creating or whatever it is that you want your business to do for you in this month, it can be tangible, it can be immediate, and it can make you feel amazing when you achieve it. Are you thinking, Kat? Yes. Now, it can be that you want $50, but what do you want that $50 for? Do you want it to take you out to dinner? Do you want to go to Massachusetts? Well, for those of you who are in Maine, do you want to go to Boston and see a play? Maybe that's a couple $100. So, or maybe you want to be able to go to the grocery store and just throw a bunch of stuff in the cart and not need to be concerned that you have a list. Or maybe you want to take a friend on whatever. Go do something fun. Maybe you want to buy tap shoes for your kid. I don't know. Did you figure something out, Kat?
Yes, I did.
Perfect.
You want me to share now?
I would love it. I would love it. What is it that you want your business to do for you in the month of October?
I want to have some extra money for when I drive my parents down to Florida in November and spend time with some friends of mine, so that we can do some fun stuff while I'm down there.
I love it. And did you come up with a dollar figure that you would like to have to help with that?
It would be nice if I had a couple $100, but I don't see that happening. But
hey.
You never know.
Okay. So a couple $100 and Patty's gone. Joelle, did you come up with something?
This is always hard for me. I want money.
What do you want the money for?
Bills. It's always bills.
Okay. So it is good to feel that your bills are paid. That's a good feeling to not be behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
So you got to have a dollar figure. You don't have to share the dollar figure. I probably shouldn't have had Kat share the dollar figure with me.
I don't mind sharing something like that.
But this works best when you get down to the nitty-gritty. So many people will say that they want money, but what do they want the money for? Because it needs to have like an emotional attachment. And if you just say money, then that's not going to be a clear enough picture. And I just learned something tonight. So I was bringing my friend to work and I was listening to the radio, and they said on the radio that most people quit whatever it is that they're trying to do, whatever their goal is, they quit doing whatever it is that they're trying to do right before they achieve that goal. And the reason why is because what was motivating them in the beginning, when they're almost there, stops motivating them. There's something that happens in the mind. So what researchers have found is you have to shift your mindset, which I thought this was pretty cool, to what's going to happen if I don't achieve this? Rather than what's going to happen when I do, what's going to happen when I don't. So it's kind of like you having some skin in the game, and it's going to hurt. How is it going to make you feel? It's going to hurt if you had to start whatever it was all over again, or the emotional attachment of what if you didn't get that goal. So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought I'd share that. All right. So now that we know what we want, hey, Natasha, I know you're there. I know you're probably busy and listening, but I just want to say, hey, why is this goal important to me? Not goal. So what is it? Why is whatever it is important to you? So that's where the emotional piece comes in. Why is it important? And being able to answer that will help you to motivate yourself towards achieving it. So you don't have to tell me, but just, jot it down. Why is it important to me? And I know that many people who are watching this are going to see that this is the same call, Zoom, whatever we want to call it, that I've done in the past. And you know why? Success is not rocket science. Success is continuing to push forward and continuing to figure out what it is that you want from your business month to month. And the hope would be that the things that you want month to month will end up in the end helping you achieve the bigger goals that you want in the end, your dreams. Okay, so why is it important to me? Now, this is important because celebrating is important. Who will I tell when I achieve my goal? So who will I tell first? So who's your go-to person? I think Joelle would say me. Am I wrong? Yeah. So, Kat, I wish that you and I talked more because I feel like I only see you at meetings, and Joelle and I talk probably almost every day. If it's not on the phone, it's, instant messaging. And there was a chat thing and I lost it. I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. No, stop you. I'm never good at chat. If Heather's on, she usually handles the chat for me.
Natasha said she'd tell her husband.
Oh, okay. Perfect. She'll tell her husband. All right. So now that you know who you're going to tell, so you got to plan that celebration. It's important. Some people don't realize how important it is. What will my family think about me achieving this goal? So I always recommend that your family is part of your business. Now, for Kat, your family lives away, but at the same time, I would think that they would be interested in knowing what's happening with your business because it's part of who you are. And this, the same thing.
My oldest daughter lives away, but my other daughter lives just in Rome.
I just mean not in your household.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I live alone, so, and I do share a lot of my achievements and things that are going on with both of my daughters. So
nice, and that's important. That's good.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah. So for you, Joelle, do you share what you have going on with your business with your kids, or mostly just with Nick?
I share it with pretty much everybody in my family and everybody I know. And I apologize for anyone who can see me wiggling around over here. I need to go take my medicine, so I'm like wiggling around like a crazy woman. But it's like, and I share in different ways. It just depends. And like, for an example, today I saw my brother and I had shared some information with him about Scentsy recently, and then I walked into his office today and he goes, oh, I was thinking I need to have a Scentsy party.
Yes.
And he goes, didn't I have one last fall? Because it used to be only had them in the spring at St. Patrick's Day, and then he started having them in the fall too. And he goes, my new neighbors, I don't think they have Scentsy. And and I'm like, oh God, I love this. So I share it, in different ways. It could be that, I recruited, more people on my team, or, blah, 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 or, have you seen the new catalog, or you're going to love this, or, you know, whatever. And like today, Nick and I were reminiscing about past Scentsy reunions. You know, we were reminiscing about that. Sometimes we're talking about scents, whether you know, he likes them or not, because I'm like, smell this. And he's like, I don't want to smell anymore.
I'm all smelled out.
Yeah. And then with my kids, like, I'll always tell people stories about, like, with my youngest, whenever I used to get scent of the month, Eric would open up the box and he'd be like, oh, this one's a bathroom scent, this one's a kitchen scent, and stuff like that. And of course they have the two younger ones, I say younger, yeah, they're in their mid-20s, live in an apartment together, and they have like a diffuser and multiple warmers and room sprays and whatever. And then my oldest and his girlfriend live in New Hampshire, and they have warmers and wax and whatever. So and it's, what's funny about that too is that Joe used to sell Scentsy, my oldest, and one of his girlfriend's, his fiance's friends, said something about going to their house to smell some of the scents before she chose. And I'm like, huh? So there must be some old testers there somewhere. So yeah. And then my Aunt Judy, who, my mom's sister, one of them, she lives, technically, I always said she lived in Boise, but she technically lives in Meridian.
That's amazing.
Shut the front door.
I know.
And so when she came home to visit this summer, she did a little sit and sniff with me and ordered a 6-pack of bars to be delivered to her house.
Woohoo! In Meridian.
In Meridian, Idaho. Because I'm like, so what's your address? And she told me, and I'm like, where? I said, I thought you lived in Boise. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is very cool.
But she was getting her order before she went to Arizona for the winter.
Oh, boy.
Right?
Yeah.
Darn. Yeah. So I'm working my way right around my family.
So for me, what will my family think about me achieving this goal? My kids are involved. So my kids are going to reunion this next year, and they're all about me selling more. Because if I sell more or grow my team, they know that it's one more step closer to getting them to Anaheim, California. So they have skin in the game too. And when you have your family on board, and what first comes to my mind is the people, the family unit who live in the house, who sometimes might think, gee, Scentsy's getting in the way of this or that. When you have them on board and thinking about what's happening with your business and what they're, in a sense, what's in it for them, that this can be a pretty big motivator. So what will my family think about me achieving this goal? The other thing is my family, like my extended family, is in awe at the stuff that I've done with my business. You know, the incentive trips, the places that I've gone, and they think that I'm just this regular jet setter, which compared to some people, absolutely not. But for my family, it's really a big thing. So for me, that piece for me keeps me working harder, because I never want it to come to the time where I don't earn something and they're like, well, what's up with that? Because when you have, you got to keep having. So making sure that your family, you think about what your family's going to think. Now, here's the thing. This is the biggest, toughest one. What am I willing to do to get my goal? And you got to be specific with this. My next screen is going to go into some specifics as well. So here's one thing. So one thing that I think about is doing those uncomfortable things, like talking to a stranger, walking up to a stranger and just starting a conversation. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to walk up to a stranger and say, hey, you want to buy some Scentsy? Because that is not necessarily the approach. Some people that would totally work for. Others, they would just turn around and walk away. However, if you just walk up to somebody and you start a conversation, Or maybe you're in the grocery checkout line and, you're there for a few minutes. So you have a few minutes to be able to talk to, whether it's the cashier or the person behind you or the person in front of you. So are you willing? Does what you want matter to you enough that you are willing to do uncomfortable things? And you're the only person that can answer that. So this next screen, so here's some things. To get what you want, what will you do? Like, how many parties? So for Kat, if she wants $200 and I'm going to go on party average of 400. If she wanted $200 and her party average is 400, and you know that you make 25% of a $400 party, that would be two $400 parties. However, if her party average were 200, then that would be four. Am I right? Four $200 parties. So those are the things that you got to know. But so if her parties, if she wanted to be sure that she was going to get to that 800, if you will, this is the last one, PRV, then she might want to schedule one or two more parties in case somebody decided not to close this month, or maybe a host child got sick or something like that, because sometimes things don't quite happen. Now, it might seem, to some folks, it might seem like growing your business by sponsoring people, it takes time before you, or lots of time before you really see any of the financial gains back. However, let me just tell you, so when it comes to how many opportunity packets will you give out, Scott and Alexander Wickfrey, they are the people, my go-to people, because when it comes to sponsoring, because they have a little bit of a different thought process. So I'm a party girl. I'm always looking for parties. However, they are sponsoring people. They're always looking to sponsor people. And I need to grab some of what they have, because I was recently in the presence of Scott on this last incentive trip in Punta Cana, and he said year over year, his financial status, the money he earns, doubled. Not just one time, but each year. And he's been in the business for 6 years. Now, I gotta say, my money year over year has not doubled. Do I make good money? Oh my gosh, yes. I make great money. However, I don't see the growth that he's seeing. And so what he would say to somebody, and believe it or not, totally true, this is exactly what he would say. So when somebody wants to buy something, you know what, I could sell that to you, and I will sell that to you, but really what I'd rather do is have you do what I do and make money off of this stuff. And so that's his typical conversation. So if he has to, he'll do it, but that's not what he wants. He wants to help people. He wants to help people make money off of themselves and then have them help more people. So that is a huge thought process. So how many opportunity packets? Now, if you say you want to sponsor one person in a month, the science behind that, and I can't think of the word that I want. So out of 10 people that you give an opportunity packet to, three will want to hear more information. And typically one person will join. Now, those 2 people who heard information, does that mean that they might join another month? Perhaps, but typically, if you get 10 packets handed out, and this is not just 10 packets that you just push off, but it's 10 packets that you give to the person or the peoples, and then you go back and you follow up. So that's that next bullet down. So when you're following up with them, you're building a relationship. You're finding out what their wants and their needs are, and listening for the things that you know Scentsy can do for them. So, and when you're having that conversation, no two conversations are going to be the same, because no two people necessarily want the same things. So how often will you follow up? How many people will you sponsor? And how many no's are you willing to get, whether it's parties, sales, or sponsoring? And I know Joelle uses this this thought process. So it's the whole waitress. You know, there's two different thought processes too. So the waitress is offering coffee. It's breakfast time, especially. That's when I think of it. The waitress is coming around offering coffee. Not everybody wants coffee. Many people say no. Does she go cry in the background? You know, in the kitchen, does she cry because somebody said no? Absolutely not. She knows not everybody wants it. And the same thing. So this is my naughtiness. So every good waitress offers dessert. Does everybody accept the dessert? No. However, every good waitress offers it because it's going to up her tip, and it's yummy. So I like to talk about the yumminess of dessert. I don't often eat it, but I like to talk about it. And again, if somebody says no, they're not saying no necessarily to the waitress. They think she stinks, sucks at her job, and all that stuff. It has nothing to do with her, and everything to do with what that person wants at that very moment. And so at that very moment, that person doesn't want coffee or dessert. At that very moment, they say no, and it's okay. Now, why is it important for us to be thinking about somebody saying no? Because they're not saying no to us. They don't think that we're crappy people. They're saying no, that they can't see themselves saying, beginning their Scentsy business right now. And that could be that they don't know enough about it. It could be because they can't see what Scentsy might have to offer them. It might be that they think that Scentsy is going to take a ton of time and they don't have time for it. Who knows? Right then, at that very moment in time, they're saying no, and it's okay. Does that mean that so here's a question that I will sometimes ask when somebody says no. And it's not very often that somebody says no right to my face, and this is when I love to use it best, is when it's to my face, and I'll say, is that no, never, ever, ever, or just no, not right now? And when they say, oh no, just no, not right now. Oh, good. When would be good for me to check in with you again? And I give 2 different dates, and it's oftentimes like 1 month and then a month after that so if it's now, we're in October, would November or December be better for me to get in touch with you again? And I love the two option one, because they're going to say one of those months. That's all they have choices of, is one of those months. So that's a little tip from me. So here's the thing. So here's the things that these are income producing activities, and these are things that are going to help you to grow your business. So to get what you want, what will you do? So how many parties, how many opportunity packets? So if you wanted to sponsor 2 people, then you would need to give out at least 20 opportunity packets. How often will you follow up? So after you give out an opportunity packet, the rule of thumb is typically within 48 hours, because they're going to lose it after that. And if they did read it, then whatever interest that was sparked, they might forget about it. So if you just follow up with them really quick, hey, did you have a chance to look at that information that I gave you? What did you think? This is the thing that you got to be okay too. What did you think? So leave it at that. And be silent for a minute. People do not like silence. They will speak. They will say something. So following up. Okay, so we talked about all that other stuff. So what are you willing to do? This is all about you. Oh, come on, you. So here's the thing. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Because there will be times that you're not going to feel like making phone calls or texting or messaging. There will be times that you're not going to feel like talking with people at the grocery store or going to a coffee shop and hanging out and, trying to catch some new people. There will be times that you're not going to feel like it. So discipline, focusing on why it is that you want to accomplish whatever your goal is, focusing on what your family's going to think when you achieve it, focusing on who you're going to tell. So imagining telling whomever that is that you did this. Those are the things that's going to help you to stay disciplined. So, and I always end this again with the boat, because I'm all about this. Because if you look on here, there's some really small pieces, and by the time you walk through all those small pieces, you've achieved, whether it's reunion or the boat. So that, I think, is, yes, it's my last slide. I can stop screen sharing. Stop. Yeah. So that is, in a nutshell, the Get More from Scentsy call, or Zoom. I have a hard time with saying Zoom because if I'm used to, the calls, but I really like being able to see people. So perhaps, Natasha, next time you come on, you'll be able to show your pretty face. What do you think, Kat?
Head down mute. I think the more I hear this, the more it's sinking into my head that I really need to work my business more so that I'm getting more out of it. So I like having these calls between our team meetings that we have monthly.
Yep.
So that it reinforces what I need to be thinking about.
You are amazing, because you know what? That's why we do this, because people,
yes.
People need each other. We need our community because lives get busy, and Scentsy, or whatever your hopes, wants, goals are, can get set on the shelf. So by throwing it back in your face and imagining what you're going to do to get there, you're right on the right track. And I am tickled pink that you're okay to be listening to this, even though it's legitimately pretty much the same information. Sometimes with different people, when they join the call, they have different questions or they have different desires, and we get to glean from other people when that happens. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
True.
Mm-hmm. And Joelle stepped away. We lost her.
Hey, yeah, I gotta run. We got a skunk out back, and Lucy almost got it. So.
Oh no! I
gotta go.
I love
you might hear Nick get sprayed.
Bye.
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 I don't even know how to. Oh, there we go. Bye.
There is, for those of you watching this later, and just to remind you, we do have a team Zoom, so it's going to be more like a team meeting. This is just very focused on what you want from your business and what you're willing to do to get there, and it's more of a brainstorming thing. And at first I struggled with, am I going to really talk about the same things each month? And then I'm like, yes, because I need to be reminded of the same things each and every month. And I need to start my business fresh. Each month, what do I want? And what am I willing to do to get there? And who am I going to share my success with? What happens if I don't get it? Who's going to be affected by that? So all of those things. And again, it's not rocket science, but it's good stuff. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this up, because it's 9:19 and we've covered what we needed to cover, and I'm hopeful that you will join the team meeting next week. It starts at Eastern time, 8:15, I do believe. There's an event, and I'll remind people in the event. So if you can come. If not, it will be recorded just like this one's being recorded now. That said, if you have the opportunity to get on live, it's always better, because you get to share your awesomeness, and we get to hear what some of the wants and goals that you have are. So have a great night, everybody.
You too. Good night, Mel. Thank you.
Good night.